How you choose to breathe can determine the quality and longevity of your life. We breathe on average over 20,000 times per day, and we are able to choose how to breathe if we have awareness. Your breath is a powerful force, and when you learn how to work with your breath, it becomes your superpower. In this video, we're going to break it down: how to breathe to stay calm and in control when you're stressed, and how to breathe to wake up and be alert when you need your brain to focus. Welcome to Root Cause of Happiness. I'm Dr. Sarah Bryn Morrow, licensed psychologist, therapeutic yoga teacher, and optimal wellness educator. I teach the physiology of mental health and the skills to overcome suffering at the root cause. My intention is to empower others to become increasingly resilient by understanding the many pieces of the puzzle to deep healing. Please join me as we explore the root cause of happiness. How often throughout the day do you notice that you are breathing? Probably not that often. Thankfully, we breathe all the time automatically. It's the first thing we do when we're born, and it's the last thing our body does when we die. While your breath is automatic and involuntary, it's interesting in that it is also within conscious control. It's one of the few bodily functions that not only happens through automatic brainstem function, but it also is something that we can change and alter over time, teaching our brain and body how to breathe differently, how to breathe for optimal health. There are many different breathing techniques out there. I study and practice and teach yoga, and we have many different breathing techniques within the yoga field, all of which have a different function, a different cause and effect in how you are changing the state of the mind, the state of the brain and body. I teach intentional breathing as one of the primary, most essential coping skills to be able to become resilient. We have choice in how we breathe. We can breathe in through the nose, which is preferable. We can also breathe in through the mouth as our backup plan. We can breathe in high in the lungs, lifting the chest up and down as we breathe, or we can breathe low in the lungs using the diaphragm, expanding and contracting with each breath. How we breathe will have a different effect on how we feel and how the brain and body are functioning. When we are in danger or get frightened, we tend to breathe mouth to chest, up and down, fast and shallow, hyperventilating. We breathe into the upper lungs. Those lobes of our lungs have nerve endings that communicate, "Yikes, there's a problem," directly to the brain. The brain sounds the alarm. It primes the body to breathe into upper lungs. Alternatively, when we are relaxed, happy, sleepy, we tend to breathe nose to belly, slower, more rhythmic, the diaphragm drawing down on inhale, relaxing back up on exhale. That diaphragm movement modulating the heart rhythms. When we breathe in through the mouth, we tend to draw in cold, dry air that's missing the filtration system of these long, narrow, winding sinus passageways. When we breathe in through the nose, it helps to moisten, warm, and filter any debris out of the air before it reaches the lungs. The mucous membranes of the sinus passageway are one of our first lines of defense, in which the mucus can grab any impurities in the air before they reach the lungs. It's always healthiest to breathe through your nose, and it's very important to allow the belly to relax so that the diaphragm can move with the breath and help regulate our heart rate variability. Our lower lungs have nerve endings opposite of the upper lungs. When we breathe into the lower lungs and the belly expands outward, those nerve endings communicate to the parasympathetic nervous system, signaling safety back to the brain. It's very helpful in balancing the nervous system stress response when we learn to breathe through the nose to the belly, slow and rhythmically. This is yoga breathing. In yoga, we are always being encouraged to close the mouth, breathe through the nose, and slow the exhale down. The ideal breath is roughly 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out, trying to find a nice wave pattern, balancing inhale and exhale. However, if you're feeling stressed, anxious, really upset, it is helpful to focus on slowing the exhale, actually trying to elongate the exhale to be almost twice the duration of each inhale. This elongated exhale helps tell the brain, I am safe right now. There are no dangers in this moment that I can tell. There is no evidence of threat. If I'm breathing in this rhythmic fashion, slowing the out-breath, my brain knows that I must be safe right now. Alternatively, breathing through the mouth and up-down breathing can make the nervous system feel on edge. It can put your brain into kind of this orange zone of uncertainty, on edge, slightly stressed, ready to go into a full-blown survival mode or that fight-flight stress reaction in any moment. It's better for the health of the lungs, for preventing infections, to breathe through the nose as well. There are many books written about breathing. My favorite as of recently is by James Nestor, called Breath, and it gives you a lot of the science we know about breathing. And it's very common that over time we've developed bad habits in which we become a mouth breather. It could be from allergies where we have chronic sinus congestion. It could be just laziness where we don't have the jaw, or what they call posture of the tongue, in the right alignment. If you do happen to breathe through your mouth, that's okay. Slowly, you can retrain your body to breathe through your nose. There's different techniques to do that. There's a specific breathing technique called Buteyko breathing. I'll write that in the notes below so you can see the spelling. But in that breathing technique, we're helping to retrain the body to breathe through the nose, and we're opening up the sinus passageways. It's been shown to be helpful for asthma, allergies, chronic sinus infections, or congestion. And the main teacher of that technique has healed his own body from a lifetime of chronic respiratory issues through his childhood. You've probably heard about mouth taping at this point. It's become weirdly popular and talked about over just the past year. Mouth taping is helping us train the body to breathe only through the nose, usually practiced at bedtime. Potentially very helpful if you have sleep apnea. And there's specific special tape sold just where you very gently tape the lips shut. It might be that if you breathe through the mouth chronically, that at first this could feel stressful or anxiety producing to not be able to mouth breathe, and just work in small doses, small sessions in which you tape the mouth closed, go as long as you can comfortably breathing through the nose, and then just allow yourself to be done for today. Try again tomorrow. Over time, you'll be retraining the brain to be able to breathe through the nostrils. You've probably also heard of box breathing or 4-7-8 breathing. These are similar techniques in which you inhale to the count of 4, hold the breath for either 4 or 7, exhale for 4 perhaps, hold the breath out for 4, or in 4-7-8, you exhale continually for that 8 count. So these are breathing techniques that include a breath retention, where we're inhaling and holding the breath in, exhaling slowly, and pausing with the breath out. What you'll notice in these breathing techniques is that we are elongating the exhale. The inhale is only a small piece of that breathing count. So we're teaching the brain to inhale momentarily, slow the exhale down, and honor the pause at the top and bottom of each breath. These breathing techniques tend to be particularly helpful if you're feeling anxious, although not for everybody, but it's a technique that you can practice and just see if it helps you calm down when you're feeling stressed or overwhelmed. So in order to breathe, to lower the stress response, communicate safety to the brain, balance out our emotions so we can think smart again and handle our emotional stress intelligently, we want to breathe through the nose, draw the breath low into the lower part of the lungs, diaphragm draws down so belly then pushes out. Slowly exhale, allowing the diaphragm to relax back up, and a little hesitation before that next in-breath. The cue that we tend to give in our society is take a deep breath in, take a deep breath to calm down. It can be very difficult to take a deep inhale if your body is hyperventilating, but we can almost always slow the exhale down. So I always teach all of the kids that I help, focus on your exhale. Exhale slowly. Breathe out completely. Allow the in-breath to just happen, but choose to breathe in through the nose. So we can breathe to calm down and lower the stress response. But what about when you're really tired and the alarm clock goes off and you have to get up for school or work and you are so painfully tired? Well, wonderfully, we can use the breath as a way to wake up the brain. So rather than breathing in this 1 to 2 breath ratio to calm, meaning if I inhale, say to the count of 3, I exhale to the count of 6, slowing that exhale down to be nearly twice as long as the inhale. Rather than that breath ratio, I can choose to breathe in a 1-to-1 ratio to help my brain wake up. So in the yoga world, we call this bellows breathing, perhaps, in which we pull the abdominal muscles in to push the breath out more quickly. So it might look like this, breathing through my nose still. So what I'm doing is breathing in and out through my nose. I'm allowing my belly to rise and fall, but I'm forcing the exhale out through pulling my abdominal muscles in and up gently. So what this will do is I'm actually speeding up my breath on purpose, but I'm not hyperventilating. I'm not up-down breathing or mouth-to-chest breathing. I'm still breathing nose to belly, but I'm speeding up the rate of the breath, and I'm pushing the exhale out more quickly than is typical. So what this will do is if you're sleepy, tired, maybe you have a lot of homework to do and you just can't focus, it will actually help to increase the oxygen level in the body and wake up the brain. And so just 30 seconds of more rapid breathing, kind of pumping the belly to push the exhale out, inhale just happens automatically, can actually stimulate the brain and help you feel much more alert in just 30 seconds. So we have to learn how to, first of all, be aware of the breath. I try to notice my breath many times throughout the day. I have tied that to little daily routines, like I might notice my breath while I wash dishes, and try to hold awareness of my breathing for as long as I can. And then my mind will wander and I'll get distracted with something else, and I'll remember, oh yeah, I was focusing on my breathing, and I'll come back to breath awareness. When you pause and notice your breath, it allows you an opportunity to regulate the breath, to make sure the mouth is closed, to make sure you're breathing from nose to belly, to feel that expansion and contraction of the abdomen and the rib cage, and to perhaps slow the breath down. On purpose, slow the speed of the air, slow the exhale, exaggerate that ratio of exhale to inhale. If we pause and notice our breath and choose to breathe intentionally here and there throughout the day, it starts to become almost an automatic way that we self-regulate. So it's very important that we have intentional breathing time, pausing and noticing, shifting our breathing, choosing to breathe on purpose, so that in a stressful moment when we're really struggling or overwhelmed, our body instinctively knows how to breathe to calm down. It remembers the feeling of that intentional, calming breath, or breathing through the nose and drawing the breath low in the lungs. The brain wants to stay out of that red zone. Again, it's a waste of energy. It takes a lot of our energy. It feels bad. It detracts our body from putting energy into its desirable biological functions, like self-repair, immune function, growth, detoxification. So these are all the things our brain would rather spend its energy on, but the brain needs to know that we're safe. And so when we learn to use our breath as a safety cue to the brain, it helps support our overall bodily functions and help us have more optimal physical health, as well as easier to manage and more enjoyable mental health. Your breath is within your control if you can be aware that you are breathing. And the more that you are aware that you are breathing, the more you become empowered to choose how to breathe. And as you practice, you start to learn the ways to breathe that you enjoy most and that work best for you. So your homework, if you've made it this far in this video, is pause and tune into your breath as many times as you can throughout the day. You might, again, post some sticky notes or little messages to yourself in the places in your house you might see them, such as on the bathroom mirror or even on the dashboard of your car. When you're stopped at a red light, great, it's an opportunity to breathe on purpose. When you're feeling impatient, having to wait in line, great, tune in to the breath, breathe intentionally. If you do this, you start to change over time. Your breath can be your superpower if only you can notice and choose how to breathe. Thank you for joining me at Root Cause of Happiness. If this information was useful to you, please share it with others seeking knowledge and tools for resilience. It is a meaningful contribution to the world when we become proactive in our healing journeys, by learning and growing, by increasing our awareness, by addressing the root cause of happiness.